Hello, 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 hello. What's up, FitOn fam? It's Kenta here, and I am so excited to be getting this on with you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to let a couple of you join in. Let everybody come on in first before we go ahead and get started. Oh my gosh. First of all, Happy New Year. I'm so happy to have you all here. Hello from Spain. Oh, awesome. 9 p.m. in Belgium. Yeah, let's start with that, guys. Where y'all from? Go ahead and shout out below where you are joining us from, whether it's from your country, whether from your city, your state. I would love to know where our FitOn fam is from today. Hello from Canada, from Spain. Oh, we are worldwide. I love it. Oh, you guys, welcome. Keep coming on in. Keep coming on in. So happy you all joined us today. Yes, Australia. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so honored that you are all here joining us today. Oh, wow. FitOn fam is truly international. This is so awesome. Oh, you guys. I love it. I love it. Keep that going. First of all, Happy New Year to everybody. Oh my gosh, this is such a great way to start off the new year. You know, our Ultimate Wellness Reset program is just so awesome. How many of you are in it? I'm assuming most of us here are at least doing FitOn, but many of you are doing our Ultimate Wellness Reset, right? Helping you restart? Or has anybody already completed it? Because I've seen some of you have already done all 4 weeks of the program. Some of you started it early, which is amazing. Oh my gosh, the reset. Yes. Oh my gosh. Have you guys done OMG booty workout yet? I know you guys did armed and grounded. I know you did my cardio one. I think the one coming up in week 3 or 4 is OMG booty, and it is brutal. I let out some anguish on that, guys. Oh my gosh. Well, welcome. So just a quick recap of what we're going to be doing today. We already had a bunch of you send so many questions before this live via the app and via the website. So we have a lot of questions already lined up. I have a general idea of what most of you are curious about. So I have a lineup of what I'm going to be talking about. But throughout the whole live, I'd love to answer any additional questions that you guys have. If you have any questions on what I'm speaking to, feel free to ask away. This will be recorded and posted later on YouTube. So if you want to go back on it, you definitely can. Also, if you have any further questions, you can always reach out to me directly on Instagram at Kenta Seki. And just continue taking our workouts, and let's keep this wellness reset program going. Okay, so let's kind of get started then. So let's see, starting off, let's see. Okay, so interestingly enough, out of all the questions everybody submitted, we have so many. We're going to be talking about motivation. We're going to be talking about New Year's resolutions. We're going to be talking about your health and fitness, maybe touch a little on supplements and diet as well. But the one that came across the most was actually, you guys are curious about me. You want to know about my personal journey with health and fitness. So I'm just going to briefly touch on that. For those of you that don't know, I've been in the health and fitness industry since I was about 16 years old. Yoga was my first love. I got started with yoga when I was 9 years old. And I was just so obsessed with it. I made it my life, fitness thing when I was young. I was doing it every single day. I was taking the bus to the yoga studios. And I ended up becoming an instructor at 16. And then soon after that, I became a personal trainer at 18, and then was personal training, doing yoga. And then I got cast in a fitness DVD program. We don't do fitness DVDs anymore. Now we're streaming and we're on apps. But for those of you that remember, about 10 years ago, we were doing fitness DVDs, and I was cast in a DVD program by Jillian Michaels, the trainer that was on The Biggest Loser. For those of you that remember what that is. Anyway, I was cast in there as one of the backup people behind Jillian. And she and I actually ended up becoming really good friends. And I ended up becoming her personal trainer after a few years. And she was casting me in all her different projects. And I was training people for her and doing all these things. And that's what kind of got me into the fitness media space. And then I started working with different apps and different companies. And that's how I got to FitOn. So I've now been with FitOn coming up on my 4th year. I've been with FitOn almost since the beginning. And it's just been such a pleasure to just see everything grow over time, and to see all of you guys and seeing how committed you guys have been and how committed you are and all your progress. And just, we have such an amazing community here. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of it in whatever aspect that I am. Let's see what people are questioning. You still use fitness DVDs? Yes, I love it. I mean, fitness DVDs are amazing. There are people that reuse the same DVD over and over and keep watching it, and that's amazing. What I love about the fitness streaming space now is you can just use it on your phone and have it with you anywhere, anytime, watch it as many times as you want. But whatever works for you, whether it's a DVD, whether it's a VHS tape, whether it's streaming, whether it's live classes, whatever it is, as long as you have some type of fitness in your life, keep that going. Let's see. So that's kind of like a little bit of my background and how I started in fitness and how I got to where I'm at now with FitOn. Going back to fitness, someone else asked, what other than fitness, what is it? What got you to fitness and what keeps you in it? I love that question because it's not just how I got here, but actually, why am I still here? Why do I keep doing this? What's my motivation for doing what I'm doing? And there's the best part is there's really so many reasons. There's so many reasons why I keep doing what I'm doing, and a lot of it is because of you guys. Honestly, seeing how enthusiastic you guys are, seeing the progress that you guys are making, knowing that I'm helping to make a difference in people's lives is infinite. It's like it's such an amazing benefit to this job of mine. Like it's not just a source of income. It's not just a job. Rather, it's my purpose. Honestly, I really believe that fitness is my purpose to help bring health and wellness and positivity into everybody's life. And I really feel like being here on FitOn is a great way to, share that with you guys and be here with you guys for that. So I hope I'm fulfilling that for you guys, because that's honestly what keeps me going is knowing that it's a purpose-driven career, and I really feel like I'm making a difference in this world. So that's what keeps me going. People ask, other than fitness, what other lifestyle choices do you make to be the healthiest version of yourself? That's a great question. Fitness is one of the first things people always think about when they think of fitness or rather health. And it's so important, obviously. The best part of working out is it gets your blood flowing, it gets the endorphins flowing, it just gets everything moving and helps keep it be a better, well-oiled machine, so that your brain functions better, your body functions better. It's not just about looking a certain way, but actually being a certain health level and just feeling the best as well. So that's what I would say is this. There's so many benefits to being healthy, but what other ones do I make being the healthiest version of myself? I focus on my mental health a lot, you guys, like especially these last, however many years since the pandemic started. It's really important that we take just as much focus and attention that we're putting into our bodies, and if not more, focus on our mental health, because there's so many things nowadays that are just kind of bombarding us and can easily make people depressed or confused or sad or any other number of things. And as long as we focus on making sure that we, are in our healthiest mental space as possible, whether it's loving ourselves, whether it's making sure that we're not too hard on ourselves, giving other people empathy, these are all really, really important. So honestly, mental health and just making sure that I'm taking breaks when I need to physically, giving myself the time and space I need to mentally when I need to step away from things, and making sure that I'm always okay in my body and in my mind as well. And that's what I always encourage you guys to do in my workouts as well. I always say, love yourself, love your body, be gentle with your body, don't be too hard on yourself. And that's because I'm going through that as well. I get that. So if there's anything else that I'd say, it's always to focus on your physical and your mental health. Let's see, let me look and see if there's any questions about that. Your workouts are the best. Side note, Kenta's skin looks amazing. Thank you. I put a lot of work into my skincare regimen just as much as I do into all my other levels of health. Let's see, a daily face wash, toner, moisturizer, serums, SPF, all the above. My day isn't complete unless you've done at least one of my workouts. Oh, thank you, Brittany. That's really sweet. I appreciate that. And we have more workouts coming, you guys. We're actually filming new workouts next week. Surprise, surprise, new workouts coming. And oh my gosh, these next ones, I'm so excited. I'm writing them out now, and they're going to be so fun. So stay tuned for that. Someone asked, which exercise is really your favorite? Really was all in caps, by the way. So I get the sense there's a little bit of sarcasm in there, maybe because you guys know I do say a lot of exercises are my favorite. But I don't necessarily say they're my favorite. They're one of my favorites. I have a lot of favorite exercises, and really I like the ones that kind of do a lot of things, that serve more than one purpose. Like if you're talking about just a basic bicep curl, it's okay. You're isolating that one muscle. That's cool. But if you can do some type of twisting, weird, variation of an exercise that hits multiple different areas of that muscle at once, that's, something that I'll really like. But Generally, I mean, I just have so many favorites, you guys. I'm sure you guys do too. What are some of your favorite exercises? Do you guys have some favorite exercises or favorite exercises of mine? Oh my gosh. He loves donkey kicks. I do love donkey kicks. It gets that hip extension in there, which is so important. Not a lot of people get it. You know, you're sitting in that seated position, your legs are up in flexion, your hip flexors get tight. Anything that'll get your legs behind you, giving that hip extension, so good for you. Um, all of OMG abs. Oh, you guys, amazing, amazing. Okay, so that's just a little bit about me. Moving on now, I want to get into talking about motivation and New Year's, because again, we're talking about the ultimate reset, you know, for the year, getting ready for this new year. Let's see. Is it possible that Satan invented Pilates? Laura, Pilates is amazing, and it could very well have been invented by Satan now that I think about it. Anyway, you guys. Okay, so talking about motivation and smart goal setting. So when it comes to the new year, you know, a lot of people are talking about resolutions and setting goals for the new year. And that's great. You know, always be setting goals, whether it's, you know, for your week, for your day, for your year. But the most important thing when it comes to setting a goal is to not just make it a wish. You know, don't just say like, for example, I want to lose weight this year. You know, it's like, okay, that's great, but that's just kind of like a wish. How are you going to make that into a plan? How are you going to make that into a so can realistically have a goal that you can set the steps to actually accomplish, right? So when it comes to having a goal, there's something called SMART training, and it's an acronym, SMART. And by following the acronym, it can help make sure that you are more likely to accomplish your goals or resolutions. So let's just really quickly cover what those are. So maybe that can help you if you have a goal and if you have a resolution for the new year. So first, start by thinking about what is one of your goals that you want to accomplish this year, right? Let's start with that. Think about one, okay? And let's start to apply the SMART acronym. So the SMART, the first letter is S, it starts specific. So you want to make sure your goal is specific. So let's say, again, your goal may be to lose weight this year. Okay, how much weight? You know, like let's be specific. Don't just say kind of like a vague, to lose this amount. Give yourself a number, right? And that leads us to the next letter, which is M. Is it measurable, right? Make sure that whatever your goal is, isn't something vague, like I want to be happier this year, right? Okay, that's great, but how can we measure that? How can we measure your happiness? How can we find something specifically that you know, are doing like that can be measurable with that specific goal? So make sure that your goal is measurable and has something that can be, you know, realistic around it, that has a number that we can track, right? Next is the A, S-M-A. It's achievable. First, let's make sure it's even something that's doable, right? Like making sure, let's really realistically look at your life, look at your plans, look at your schedule, look at everything else, and make sure that whatever it is you're planning, you can actually realistically achieve within that time. Yeah. Next, we move on to the R, S-M-A-R. Make sure it's relevant, right? Make sure it's something that's realistically something that you should be doing right now, and that if you really look at your life like this, that is something that, if you look at your list of priorities, that's something that you should be focusing on, right? And then finally, the final one is a T, which is time bound. Make sure that whatever it is that you're setting your goal for, you give yourself a destiny, a date that you can accomplish it by, right? Because if you just say, I want to do it sometime this year, well, chances are, you know, it's just going to keep getting pushed, right? So if we say you want to do it by a certain day, right, then what we do is we kind of combine all of them, and how do we make that all happen sooner and give yourself little checkpoints along the way, right? So if you set yourself a large goal, let's break it down into something smaller. How can you break that down per month, right? What could you lose if we're talking weight loss in 1 month that we can track, right? That's realistic, that we can measure, and that is time bound. And then you can break down weekly. Okay, if I'm going to do that, how can I do that, right? Okay, I'm going to do by watching my diet. I'm going to make sure I'm, you know, not eating these things, or I'm eating these things. I'm going to be working out, you know, however many times per week. Let's say 4 to 5 times per week. You can track that, right? You can give yourself actual goals, and each week you'd be like, okay, check, I did that day. Check, I did that day. And we can take it day by day, step by step. And then when you look at the end of the month, you're like, wow, I did it. And then we look at the next month. And then before you know it, that's how we get to your goal. But again, if you just are kind of vague, I want to lose something this month or this year, it's going to be way harder. And that's why most people, unfortunately, don't end up accomplishing their goals. So as much as we can, let's really try to apply that SMART principle, again, S-M-A-R-T, to any of your goals, and that could potentially help. Do we have any questions about that? Let's see what people have to say. Let's see. My goal, honor and treat my body like the gift it is. That is beautiful, Jackie. I love that. Oh, and again, that as beautiful as that sounds, how can we break that up into something that is measurable and trackable, right? How can we find that into something that is more measurable? Maybe it's doing something that honors it. What is an action that you can do that shows that you're honoring it? Maybe it's doing more yoga, So, okay, can you make sure that in order to honor your body like the gift that it is, you do yoga 2 to 3 times per week or whatever your action is. And that way it's a measurable outcome. That way, hopefully it can help you get to your goal, if that makes sense. Okay. You use that term in project management. Yes, again, because it's very functional. It can apply to anything, and really it can definitely help with New Year's resolutions and goals. Okay, so moving on. Next, let's talk about after that, goal setting is important, right? How to get to your goal is important. Goals are great to plan, but a lot of the times I really see that there's this mindset that a lot of us have that we can't be happy until we're at that goal, right? Or until we look a certain way, or until, X, Y, Z, I can't be happy. I can't love myself. I can't be, my body's not where I want it to be, so I can't be this. But really, you have the power to be happy, to love yourself, to do anything, even before you get to that goal. Why do we have to wait till we get there to feel like we're accomplished, right? So my thing is really focusing on progress over perfection. And if we're thinking the goal is perfection, then we could still focus on the progress and being happy with ourselves every step along the way. So let's just say, again, if we're focusing on our monthly, our resolutional goal, if we can break that down per month, and we know that, okay, that means I'm going to be doing a FitOn workout 4 to 5 times a week. Every time that you do a workout, you're accomplishing something. You're making progress. You're tracking yourself along that. You can be happy along that way, right? You can love yourself and be grateful. Like, yes, I'm doing it. I'm going. Like, there's positivity in that, right? And you don't have to wait till you get to the end, because again, oftentimes many people don't even get there. And then if they don't get there, then they feel like depressed, or, like they didn't really accomplish anything. But again, as long as we focus on making progress, it just makes life so much easier to deal with, because otherwise it can get really depressive if you are constantly not achieving or looking or being this certain way that you want to be. So as much as you can, really try to focus on progress over perfection, and just being happy with yourself every step along the way, and just doing what you can day by day. Some days you're going to be, going a lot further than others. Some days you might be just kind of trudging along, but as long as you don't give up, right? That's what I say in all my workouts. As long as you don't quit, and you keep working, that's all that matters. So progress over perfection. So again, first, plan your goals, make them smart, work on achieving them as much as you can, breaking out day by day, and then progress over perfection. Just focus on making progress every single day. Life is a marathon, right? It's not just this little sprint that you have to get to, and once you get your goal, then you're suddenly done. No, it's this lifelong journey, and just be happy with yourself and love yourself and be patient with yourself and show yourself empathy as often as you can along the way. Okay. Any questions? Let's see. Rebecca says, one of my favorite FitOn sayings is, you can't hate yourself into loving yourself. That is so beautiful. And it's true. Again, often we send ourselves so much negative energy sometimes, right? If we don't look a certain way, or our bodies don't look a certain way, or we don't feel like we're accomplishing as much as we, know we could or want to. But again, as long as you are making progress, as long as you are trying, then that's all that matters. So just keep that in mind, guys. Okay. Let's see. Moving on. Celebrate the small stuff. Absolutely. Okay. Moving on. What is the minimum? And so now I guess we're going to be getting into any questions about, actually motivation. Let's talk about the next thing regarding the same motivational area. So when it comes to, people ask a lot about motivation. So we talked about the goal setting, right? Smart goal setting. We talked about progress over perfection. Now let's talk about motivation, because often enough, one of the most common questions we see is like, I don't have any motivation to work out, or I'm not feeling motivated. How do I get motivated? Motivation is great. If you are feeling motivated and you have different things to get you, up and at it every single day and working on your goals, that is amazing. A lot of people don't have that, and I understand. So there are ways that you could help support your motivation. A lot of the times it's finding out your why is always the most important base. What is your why as to why you are working towards your goal? Don't just have a goal, have a reason behind the goal, and you are way more likely to get to that goal to begin with. right? So really focus on your why and try to have as many different whys to support your goal as possible. That way, some days one of those whys might not be supportive enough, but then you think about another one and you're like, oh, but that'll motivate me today. Like always have a reason intrinsically motivation as to why you are doing it for yourself. And then maybe have some extrinsic motivations. Maybe you're doing it for someone else. Maybe you're doing it for something else. So that way you have a large support group of whys. But always have your intrinsic one. Always have it doing it for yourself is most important. And then other ones along the way can help as well. And again, there's different ways to do that. I like having my playlist. I have my motivational playlist. I have my songs that I have all in my Spotify playlist that I'm like, okay, when I'm not like feeling up at it, I start that music. And if I'm at home, okay, I'll take my energy drink, get cracked on a little bit, play my music, start getting dressed. And by the time I'm done, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. Whatever it is, I have anytime I'm scrolling on Instagram or TikTok and I find something I like, I save it to my motivational folder. Something that post really inspired me, or that quote really inspired me, or whatever. I put that into my motivational folder. And sometimes, again, if I'm just sitting there and I'm not really feeling like up for it, or I'm feeling depressed, or I'm feeling whatever other way, I go to that folder and I'm like, okay, yeah, it pumps me up, and then I'm ready and good to go, or it lifts me up from where I'm at. Whatever it may be, finding your friends in your life, that help motivate you. Surround yourself with people, places, things, nouns that inspire you and motivate you, and surround yourself with them as much as possible. Okay. But that's motivation. But the thing about motivation is you can't always rely on it, because most of the time it's not always going to be there. So in addition to motivation, I always say focus more on having discipline, self-discipline, to make yourself do things all the time, as often as possible, for when motivation's not there. Because if your excuse is always, oh, I'm not feeling motivated, so I'm not going to do it, then most likely you're not going to get there, right? But if you say, you know what, but I know that doing this thing is going to be good for me, and so I'm going to make myself do it, and even if I'm not happy while I'm doing it, but I'm going to do it, I promise you, by the end, you're going to be glad you did. One of my favorite sayings is self-discipline is a form of self-love, right? Because it's like you're doing something for you, for yourself, because you know that doing it for yourself is ultimately in your best interest, right? I'm sure you guys have heard the saying, you never regret a workout, right? Because it's true. It's like I can't tell you how many times I've had to force myself to go to the gym, or even even through all my other normal things that get me motivated, my Spotify playlist, my motivational everything, I'm still not feeling up for it, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go anyway. And I go anyway, and I just trudge along, and I do what I can, and I make it happen. And then by the end, I'm like, oh, thank God I did that. I'm so glad I did that, and that's where self-discipline comes into to play, right? Don't always rely on motivation. Kick up that self-discipline. Think of it as a muscle, right? I like to think of self-discipline and willpower as a muscle. And the more often you flex it, the stronger it'll get, right? The more often you just make yourself do something, and the more often you just get up and do it, and you do that time and time again, you're like, okay, I can do this. I'm stronger than that voice in my head that's telling me not to do it. And then eventually, when you start doing that often enough, you start to have the confidence to know, like, oh yeah, I can do this. Oh my gosh, and I'm getting results. Wait, this is working. So it's a process. So plan your goals with your SMART training. Discipline over motivation for sure. There's so many different things you can have along the way. Any questions about that so far? Even if it's 15 minutes, I do it. Yes. Again, how many times, guys, I know for me personally, I have been like, okay, I don't really feel like it, but I'm just going to go and I'm just going to stretch. I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to get in a quick stretch workout, or I'm going to turn on, FitOn, and I'm just going to do quick meditation. And I'm like, okay, well, now I'm already doing it. I might as well just do another one. I might as well do a longer one, whatever it is. Sometimes even just starting with something small, is better than nothing at all, right? Let's see. Self-discipline is a form of self-love. Yes, Teresa, because it's true. Again, self-discipline, don't think of self-discipline as you being mean to yourself. Think of it as you are doing it for yourself. And again, you will always be glad that you did in the end. So think about that. Next time you're not feeling motivated, oh well, get up and do it anyway. And I promise, you'll be stronger afterward. And you know what? Also, that comes with the caveat of not necessarily all the time. Again, self-love sometimes is knowing when you need to actually take a step back and when you need to not go. So sometimes there are times where it's totally okay to listen to yourself and give yourself that break, give yourself the recovery. And that's fine too, of course. But the majority of the time, for most of us, I would say, make yourself do it anyway. right? And see how that works out for you. And again, if that's not the mentality that you need, and if that's not the thing that works for you, then find the thing that is. But generally, that is the one that works the best for me, and that I've seen work the best for a lot of people. Okay. Let's see. I like to try lots of different workouts, but can you have too much variety? Oh, great question. Okay, now it looks like we're getting into talking about fitness. So let's start getting into fitness. Okay, so let's talk about the most common question that people were asking. How many days per week should you work out, right? What is the minimum amount of weekly workouts that you think people should do to see results? That's a great question, and the answer to that really is it depends on you, right? Everybody's goals are completely different. Everybody's bodies are completely different. Everybody has different amounts of time, different amounts of equipment available. So it really can vary. But generally, you want to be working out most days of the week. So that means at least 4 days a week, ideally, right? So I would say 4 days a week, at least 15 to 30 minutes each time. But that's generally workouts. Ideally, you just want to be active. If you can just walk once around the block, if you're calling someone and then sitting at home, think, hey, actually, I could probably walk around the block while having this call, get some steps in, get some air in, get some activity in. That kind of stuff adds up over time too. So don't forget about daily activity over just working out as well. They're both important. But as far as working out, I would recommend doing at least 4 days a week, at least 15 to 30 minutes each time, and at different levels of intensity. As far as answering the question that was about variety, can you have too much variety? It depends on your goal. Like some people just want to be active, and in which case a lot of variety could be great. But if you have a more specific goal, where you know that a specific type of training will get you there, then you might be better off going with that more specific type of training, if that makes sense. Like if you specifically, let's say, want to build muscle, then doing Pilates and yoga might not necessarily be the best bet for you, right? You want to focus more on the strength training and making sure that your strength training program is well-rounded. So look at your goal, look at what will most likely be the best type of programming to get you there, and follow that. But if your goal is to just, be active, be fit, and get moving, then yeah, a lot of variety is great. But regardless, the main key things that you want to look at with any program are, making sure that there's something that will get your body having a lot of circulation. So maybe that's some form of cardio or some type of activity that is a little bit higher intensity, at least a 5 out of 10 intensity. So some strength programs will get you there, maybe even some types of yoga. You want to get in some type of flexibility, mobility, regardless of what programming you're doing. So maybe that's yoga, maybe that's a mobility stretch, some Pilates, whatever it may be. Just look at it, but you always want to have some type of strength training component as well, whether it's body weight, whether it's with dumbbells, whether it's Pilates, regardless of what it may be. Again, strength training, some type of cardio, some type of mobility and stretch. And then my mindfulness is always amazing too. So yoga is great, or even just finding a coach, workouts where you're getting in the mental space of what it is that you're doing, and thinking about why you're doing it, and have someone that's pushing you along the way, or even just focusing on meditations like we have in the app. Yeah. Has anybody tried my affirmations in the app? I recorded a bunch of affirmations recently. I'm definitely gonna be recording a lot more of those soon. Those are a little fun one as well. Let's see. Listening to me as I run. Oh, thank you, Wendy. Go ahead and keep up your running. That's amazing. Congrats on your work. Okay. Love my affirmations. Oh, thank you guys. Yes, I have many more on the way. I have some new breathing meditations coming along. So there's always all different types of good ways to incorporate variety into your workout program that can work for you, but make sure it lines up with your goals and what you need, right? Okay, so next question. Is it okay to do cardio and after to lift weights? This has always been the age-old question, right? Cardio before weights or weights before cardio? It depends. And as usual, with almost any type of health and fitness related question, it always comes down to it depends on your goal, right? I mean, there's anybody that ever gives like a solid answer of it is either black or white with health and fitness generally is wrong because it's almost always the answer is the gray area in between of what is your life, right? And what is your goal? What are your goals? And what is your body telling you? And what is your health and experience level? There's always so many different factors that you can't just say one answer, really. So sorry if you were looking for one straight answer, but ultimately the answer is always going to be it depends. And what it can depend on, okay, if we're talking cardio and weights, which one before the other, is which one do you want to be your primary focus, right? Are you looking to gain more strength, or are you looking to potentially lose, maybe burn more fat and increase your cardiovascular endurance? If your goal is primarily to gain more strength, then that should be your main focus, right? And the cardio then should be either lighter before, just as a light warm up, or if you're looking to gain a little bit more heavier on the cardio, then you could put some afterward, after your workout, right? Because let's say you do too much hard cardio before you work out, then you're going to be exhausted and you won't be able to give your main thing, the thing that you're looking to gain the most out of, which is strength, the amount of energy that you're really hoping to. Does that make sense? And vice versa, if you're really wanting to go like for training for a marathon and you work out for an hour on strength training before, and then you go and try to run, however many miles afterward, but you're exhausted, then it might not serve the best function there. So think about what your goals are and how putting them in an order where it emphasizes giving the one that you really want to focus on the most amount of energy. And hopefully that answers that question. Let's see. Is a mix of strength and cardio a good option for weight loss? Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah, when it comes to weight loss, guys, a lot of people tend to think that cardio is the best way to go, but that's definitely not the case. Because when you look at strength training, for those of you that do any of my strength training workouts, any strength training workouts in general, you'll notice that it gets your heart rate up already, right? I mean, just doing weighted squats into lunges, into things, your heart rate's getting up. So it is definitely a form of cardio training. But at the same time, because we're working on strength training, we're making your muscles stronger. And by doing that, they're actually going to be pulling more calories out, not just during your workout, but afterward. It's called EPOC, EPOC, excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. Anyway, the principle is that after you work out, if you focus on strength training, your body pulls more oxygen out from your body to help sustain the muscles, to help them recover and grow after you work out during strength training. So your calories burned during a strength training session can actually be more than doing a high intensity cardio session. So it's important to do them both, if you're looking at specifically at weight loss. So check out HIIT, for example. My program Total Shred. I don't know if any of you have done my course Total Shred on the app, but that is a great example of something that's, a great way to focus on weight loss with strength training at the same time. We have so many different workouts like that in the app. Okay. Any questions about that, about weight loss, about strength training, cardio, any of those things before we move on? What's the most effective ab workout, and should abs be done every day? Great question. So one of the most common, let's start with the most common misconception about ab work in general is that in order to have a flat tummy, you have to work your abs every day, right? That is definitely the most common. People like, oh, I have this fat right here on the side and I'm trying to burn it. Can I just do like side crunches and it'll go away? I have to say this every time because every year, every time people have that same misconception, but because you work a muscle, the fat around that muscle will not necessarily burn away, right? Your fat is looked at as an organ and it goes around your entire body. It's this whole one big outfit that you put on right under your skin. And just because you work one muscle doesn't mean it's going to take the fat from that area. It's going to take it kind of from everywhere, right? Maybe in some areas more than others, but just because you work that muscle doesn't mean that's where the fat will go away. So that applies to your core, right? Just because you're doing crunches doesn't mean that fat will go away. You're just strengthening your core muscles, which is great, but don't expect that, that is what will cause the weight from that area to necessarily disappear. So the most important thing when it comes to your core and your abs is making sure that you work the entire area so that we help support your core, right? So that we help your posture, we help support your torso, any of your general movements to help support your lower back, so that you don't get injured there. So I would not say just work your abs, right? Because your abs, if you're thinking a core, if you're thinking a big circle around your waist, right? Abs are just the front part. And if you just overly strengthen the front part, you're not balancing it out from the sides, you're not balancing it out from the back. So you could still end up getting injured, right? You may look like you're getting a six pack and your core may be getting stronger, but you're not really making the best benefit out of it. So to answer your question, the best ab workout is one that will, work your entire core, right? Or the best ab workout program is one where on different days you are working different parts of your core, right? Don't just work the front part of your abs every single day because number one, you're going to overtrain it, right? You don't want to work something day after day after day, the same muscle group every day because you're not giving it time to recover, right? You're not letting those muscles rest. You're not allowing the muscles fibers to recover and to heal. So If you're just looking at working your abs, I would work them, as multiple days per week if you want, but make sure there's at least a couple days in between, and look at finding a program or workout exercises, workouts that incorporate different things. I have my ab workouts, my OMG abs, for those of you that do that one, or all my other ones, but I also have my oblique burner, so that one that just focuses on the sides. A lot of other workouts that include the lower back exercises as well. So try to have a nice, good balance, and then you can do them throughout the day. And then in that way, yes, you could work your abs every day, your core every day by alternating in days, but don't just work your abs every single day. I hope that answers that question. Okay, let's see. That's a myth. Abs are made in the kitchen. Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, yeah. Core is your abs are made in the kitchen. We all have abs. We all have the rectus abdominis muscles. We all have abs in there. But if you want them to not be covered up with a thick layer of fat, then you have to make sure that your diet is on point and that your workouts are on point. So I wouldn't say they're made in the kitchen, just the kitchen. It's abs are made in life. They're made throughout your whole life programming of what you're eating, what you're doing, how you're living. And that's how you can, if you want to visibly see your abs, then you got to make sure you do all those things. Okay. Which is the best full body or upper body lower alternate days? As usual, it depends on your goal. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep being a broken record and answering it with that, but that is the truth. It depends on your goal and how many days a week you're working out, and what your goals are, how much weight you want to gain, how much weight you want to lose, how much strength you want to gain, whatever it may be. That's how you need to plan your workout routine. What I love about FitOn is we offer a lot of different programs. We have a lot of different courses. The courses I particularly like a lot better than anything else we have on the app, because they're designed by each of us instructors with the previous days in mind, right? So each class can be done by itself, one-off, but each one is done, like each week it's a progressive programming, like my total shred program, my total burn program course. Each week, I progress the movements that we did the week before. So it's a progressive program done with everything else in mind, versus our programs. It's great because you get to experience a lot of different trainers, a lot of different types of training techniques, but they're not made with each other in mind. Does that make sense? So it's great. It's a great way to have a plan, to have a lot of different workouts in there. But if you can, courses are always a great way to go as well. And then if even that works and you are more confident in knowing your workout routine and knowing what your needs are, you can go and just use our classes and choose the individual classes and make your own routine. So that's the best part about FitOn. We really have so many different avenues and options to help you along your journey. So hopefully that answers that. Abs are made in life. We heard it here first. Yes. I mean, am I wrong? Again, we all have abs, right? Let's make sure that's true. But let's make sure that we don't just confuse that they're just made in the kitchen, right? Or just made at the gym. It's made throughout your entire journey. They're made visible, if that's what the goal is, rather, throughout your whole journey. You know what I mean? All right, let's see. How much does drinking water affect weight loss? Great question, Laura. Oh my gosh, hydration is key. And actually, that was one of the next things I wanted to talk about. So one of the biggest questions people were asking was soreness, overall mobility, and flexibility. How to make sure that you're the most flexible, and recover the fastest, right? Recovery is so important. And when it comes to recovery, the first thing you need to do is focus on hydration, right? Because so many people, I forget the exact number, but it's over 50% of our nation in population is underhydrated, right? Is dehydrated, not drinking enough water. So it's the most important thing you can do is start drinking more water, right? And I always say drink water before you work out, drink water while you work out, and drink water after you work out, right? Don't just drink water during one of those things. It's just so important. And even if you don't necessarily like drinking a lot of water during your workout, I recommend having some, even if it's just like a little quick swig during the workout. Because what water does is when you drink it, it signals to your brain that you're okay, right? Because if you go, and you're working out at high intensity and you don't have any type of sustenance throughout, your body might go into like a fight or flight mode because it's thinking, oh my gosh, what's going on? It might start to retain some types of things or put your body down different types of paths that might not be the best for you. But when you take a sip of water, it's like, oh, okay, we have access to water. we can keep going. Does that make sense? So pre-hydrate, drink water throughout the day, hydrate during, even if it's a little bit, and then always hydrate afterward as well. Okay, so water plays a key role in everything that we do throughout life. It supports all of our bodily functions, right? Not just looking good, but also your immune system, every one of our senses, your digestive system, everything functions off of having a healthy water balance. So drink your water, people. And even if not water, drinking beverages, whatever that beverage may be for you. Even if it's coffee, even if it's tea, some say that can dehydrate you a little bit, but it's better than not drinking any water at all, any liquids at all. So as much as you can, try to get your fluids in throughout the day. Going back to tightness, soreness, and overall mobility and recovery. As far as recovery goes with tightness and soreness and mobility, make sure you're getting in something throughout the week, or throughout your workouts that is focusing on stretching and relaxing and lengthening the muscles, right? Because if you're just running all the time or doing cardio and you're just doing strength training, but you don't take time to actually lengthen the muscles out, your muscles can end up gathering up all different types of things in there, whether it's tightness, whether it's different types of toxins or acids, things like that. That stretching can help relieve, right? And it can just make sure that things aren't being pulled in the wrong way that could potentially cause pain. So throughout the week, get in your stretching and your mobility as much as you can, and as much aligns with your goals and your needs. So at least once is what I'm going to say with that one, but up to more if you need it. Let's see. As far as supplements for recovery, really quick, I'm going to touch on supplements because supplements is a broad thing. And it's very specific for different people. Generally, when it comes to supplements, always the first and best answer is to make sure that you're getting in whatever nutrients you may be needing in your diet first, right? Before nobody should start plugging and pushing supplements on you right away. And if they do, then you might want to be a little, weary of that person or company. First and foremost, try to get all your supplements in through a healthy, balanced diet full of whole foods, right? Unfortunately, most people don't. So that's where supplements can come in if you need them. And as far as recovery, for making sure you're getting enough protein throughout your diet is always really important. Protein is one of the most important things to help your muscles recover. Aside from that, branched chain amino acids, BCAAs is what they're called. I like to have those with something called glutamine and shake it up, and I drink it after my workouts or during my workouts if I have longer workouts. Let's see, what else do I do? I do creatine, I do glutamine, BCAAs. Let's see. Multivitamins are always good, multivitamin plus mineral. Make sure you're not just getting a multivitamin. Minerals are also really, really important for your body's function. So multivitamin plus mineral is always really good. And also, as far as digestion goes, one of the most important supplements you could consider taking if you're not getting it through your diet is fiber. A lot of people aren't getting enough fiber, and they're starting to have all different types of issues happen with their GI. So by having different types of fiber, it can really help move things along and just helping you make sure your blood sugar is more stable. And if you don't want to do fiber, one of the best things you could be doing potentially are chia seeds. I love chia seeds. They're literally like one of the most amazing superfoods there is, just because they're super high in fiber, super high in protein, super high in omega-3s and different types of healthy fats. And I like to put them in my overnight oats. I like to put them in my shakes. And it just helps make sure that things are moving smoothly and that you're getting in your nutrients. So that's what I would say, lightly touching on that. Any questions about that? Let's see. Internet connection issue. What are people saying? Glitching? How are we doing? Is it better? Are there sound issues? Sorry, guys. What's going on? Can't hear you. Oh, no. Let's see. Checking in now. Is everybody okay? Are we all getting sound and everything is good? Oh my gosh, is it at 43 minutes? You guys were at 43 minutes? Okay, well, we should be wrapping up soon. This was supposed to be, I think, a 30 to 45 minute chat, but these always end up going longer. Okay, guys, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Okay, well, I think I touched on fitness. Yes, I touched on motivation, touched on some personal stuff. All right, really quick then. Quick questions by you guys. Any questions that you guys would like for me to answer that we maybe didn't touch on today, or that you'd like to touch on? Let's see. Sound and feed. Okay, so you're all good? Okay, great. Chia seeds are awesome. Yes. Flax seeds are great too. Oh my gosh, yeah. Flax is another one that's great. I just like chia because they're so much smaller and it's easier to mix in with things. Flax sometimes be a little bit harder, but yeah, absolutely. Favorite recipes? Oh my gosh, for tips for healthy weight gain. Oh yeah, favorite recipes. For me, my favorite thing, especially for weight gain, because that's my personal goal. I'm one that's always prone to losing weight. My favorite recipes actually are always shakes, because honestly, I am not a kitchen person. I want to be. I've always aspired to be one that will go and get the food and make all these big dishes and everything. And I always try, but ultimately what I've found works best for me are shakes, because it's like they're so easy. You put them all in a thing, you blend it up, and you just drink it. It's great. And 5 or more ingredients or 5 or less ingredients is always great. And you can just make sure you're getting enough calories, especially for weight gain. If that's what you want to be going through, and even for weight loss, just make sure you're choosing lower calorie ingredients that will fill you up and give you right nutrients. Shakes are a great way to go. I'm definitely gonna be posting a lot more recipes on my social later this year, so make sure you tune in for those. Difference between total shred and total burn. So for those of you that don't know, I have 2 different courses currently on FitOn. One is called Total Shred, one is called Total Burn. Total Shred incorporates dumbbells. Total Burn is body weight. So that's the primary difference between the two. They're both 30-day programs. They both have 3 30-minute workouts per week, plus a weekly stretch and a weekly core. But the primary difference is that one incorporates dumbbells, one is all body weight. And the one that incorporates dumbbells, because it incorporates an external source of load, of resistance, it could potentially help you gain more muscle in addition to the HIIT and the cardio that we're doing. So it's a little bit more HIIT-based with more strength training factor. Total burn is more high intensity, cardio, body weight stuff. So it's going to make you a little bit more leaner and focus more on burning calories, versus total shred is going to be burning calories while also increasing resistance training and gaining strength. So that's the 2 of my different courses. People love them both. I love hearing from you guys when you do my courses. So make sure you check those out. All right. Vitamin and mineral deficiencies that can stall fat loss. Ooh, yeah. Again, the supplements are really a huge topic to conquer. And again, it's not something that I really like to get too into, just because it's very specific. But most importantly, the ones that I like to focus on are the ones that most people are not getting enough of. So focusing on those first. And fiber is actually one of those. A lot of people are not getting enough fiber. Another one is vitamin D, one of the main things you get from the sun. Especially during the winter months, not a lot of people are getting it, and that can really do a lot of different things for your body. So if you're not getting enough sun, first and foremost, see if you can, right? Get more sunlight into your life. Ideally, the sunlight that comes before 10 a.m. is supposed to have the lowest amounts of UVA rays, which I think are the bad ones. Yeah, UVA rays are the bad ones that could potentially cause skin cancer and different types of burning. So if you go out before 10 o'clock, you're going to get more of the UVB rays, which are going to be more healthy and help your body to create more vitamin D. So get more sunlight on your skin, like actually, not just kind of letting it come in through the window, but actually going outside, getting sunlight directly on your skin for at least 10 to 15 minutes. And that can help you get vitamin D, help your body create more vitamin D3, which can help with a lot of different things. Other than that, there's so many other vitamins and deficiencies. So again, that's why I would just say taking a multivitamin plus mineral is one of the best ways to make sure you have all your bases covered. Okay, let's see. Other questions. Thank you for commenting on one of my posts. Made my day when I wasn't feeling well. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Lindsay. Yeah, guys, if you haven't posted or tagged me in any posts when you're doing my workouts, tag me. I comment back on many of them. I love at least liking a bunch of them. I love seeing that you guys are doing this, and I'm honored that you would, incorporate me into your life. So thank you for that. Thank you. I'm glad that you're grateful that I liked it, but thank you for doing my workouts, and I'm grateful that I'm able to help you. Okay, let's see. Sound is not working. Oh gosh, there's more issues, huh? Favorite fiber sources. Fiber sources, again, chia seeds are my #1 go-to for fiber. I do it all the time. I add it to my shakes. It's just a great way because you also get your protein and your omega-3s. What about intermittent fasting while working out? Intermittent fasting, is a new thing that a lot of people are really focusing on, or it's not necessarily a new thing, but it's really hyped up right now. Intermittent fasting can have some benefits. What a lot of people do is they choose certain hours throughout the day where they don't eat. A lot of the times those hours include the time when they're not sleeping. So maybe they stop like at 8 a.m. and then they don't start eating until 12 p.m. the next day. And there are some benefits that definitely can be shown from there that are promising, but it really depends on your goals and your lifestyle. I wouldn't recommend it for everyone because there's, certain contraindications where it might not actually be better for you. So I can't say whether you should or should not, but there have been shown some benefits to it. I would, it can be have some pretty serious effects on your body. So I would maybe talk to a doctor or a medical professional before you consider doing it, just to make sure it's the right thing for you and your goals. I don't personally do it, but I do know people that have done it that I know and respect and show benefit. So intermittent fasting, yes, it can be good, but it depends. Gray area as usual. Okay. Are you familiar with the Full Body Sculpt program? I'm doing it for the second time. No, actually, funny you ask, guys. I'm actually about to release my own personal 30-day program outside of FitOn next month. So stay tuned for that. And it's going to be called Total Sculpt. It's so funny you would ask that, Fernando. So stay tuned. My own 30-day program outside of FitOn that I'm super excited about. I'm still happy to be working with FitOn, and we're going to keep going. But I'm now going to start producing my own content as well. So stay tuned. That's going to be 2023, the year of more content from Kenta. Okay. 2 more questions and we're going to go, guys. Oh my gosh, we already have 50 minutes. This is supposed to be 30 to 45. I love it. We can go all day. All right. Any other questions? You're my favorite trainer. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Well, so that's that so far. Again, I'm so excited to be recording new workouts with FitOn next week, new workouts and meditations and affirmations and things like that. So stay tuned for that. Keep up the Ultimate Wellness Reset program. I'm so happy you guys are doing it. For most of us, it's going to be 3 weeks in now, which is amazing. For those of you that are doing dry January with me, anyone here doing dry January with me? I posted about that earlier in the month. I do it every year, and I'm so grateful every time I do it. It just makes me feel so good and so focused, and I'm so happy that so many people are able to do it with me. But all right, guys. Thank you all so much. Again, if you have any other questions, you can always reach out to FitOn or to me directly, via DM on Instagram or even through the app. If you post in our team group, in the friends feed at the bottom, I go through that every single week and I try to like as many posts as possible, engage with many of you as possible. So engage with me in the friends feed, engage with me online or even through FitOn. But I'm just so grateful for you guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. So honored. Where do you find your program outside of FitOn? Just go ahead and follow me on Instagram and stay tuned for that. Okay. But all right, guys. Once again, thank you all so much. Have an amazing week, an amazing month, and most importantly, have an amazing year. All right. Let's make this year the most amazing one yet. 2023. Let's go. All right, guys. Bye. Happy New Year.